bedroom door before coming in? Well, how about just the total absence of a wall? How do you rate the damn thing? You challenged us to battle and, this was a mistake, wasn't it? Look at that moveset. Regardless, thankfully doesn't have any monster curses like it just slipped in from the last run we did. Oh, hey, look, it's the former champion of the Universe region.
It's somewhere around this marketplace.
Hey, why you sniffing me, man? At level 7, we learn a move that just might be a run saver rollout. Thanks, youngster me. You, the imposter, you'll never be like Jack with Mr. Smith. He designed to be so good enough to be awarded with support berries, always crucial early in game. Our good fortune doesn't quite end here, though, as on this route, all there are Patrat and Purloin. Perfect for giving us attack and PvP training until we reach the level cap. Up next, our first gym challenge, the Espresso City Gym. I really don't feel like going back to school right now, so let's skip ahead to the gym leader, Karen, the normal type specialist. His team is never a guarantee unless you're doing like a block with fighting line, I suppose, but I'm feeling pretty okay about it this time with his secret farm. He leads with a Patrat, and I gave him a turning up with workout by charging up our own defense roll. Not only by trying to increase our defense, but if you use defense roll on a turn immediately before you roll out, it doubles roll power, allowing us to take him down in 2 attacks, only taking 1 tackle at the same time. It comes to days, you know, in case I want to return it. Okay, terrible puns aside, she also gives us the C here, which weirdly enough is going to be key for our next encounter. People always think the past and the future would be so wonderful, but the time we're spending with Pokemon is right now. You know, I usually think this was corny, but after experiencing Legends Arceus, I think this dude's got a point. In no time we arrive at our next destination, Burbank City, where Roxy and her father are fighting in the middle of the street. Perfect time to go comfort ourselves with a nice silk scarf to boost our normal types of tongue. Oh, and we can also get the PTM here, which we can use to get hyperkin items off wild Pokemon, which will be able to use for the soft sand on a later encounter of ours, ironically enough. But where's our next encounter, you might ask? Well, we can find it using the game sync function of the C here to access the Dream World, where the Icy Cave, which is available as a default area with no patches required, we can get none other than a Boy, which I nicknamed Longshot and who has a serious neutral nature. One of my favorite underrated Pokemon, actually. Up next is the second gym, the Burbank Gym, and it's giving me terrible memories as it's reminding me of the fact that I recently lost out on seeing one of my favorite bands. Tickets sold out a month and a half before the concert. Well, at least I could see these tools perform and take out my anger with Longshot's super effective Zen Headbutt against their poison types. And even if they use disabled, we just learned sideways too, so we came prepared. The second gym leader is Roxy, the poison specialist, who normally causes some big trouble, but you know what? I think Longshot's gonna be a savior here. And she leads off with a comment. Now, I am attached to Petra Berry because getting poison doubles the power of her Venom Shot, but it turns out she didn't need to get chopping at least, as Longshot wipes her off the map in one sideways. Damn. Here comes the big threat though. Wooly, which immediately hits us with a super effective assurance, but Longshot hangs it quite well and smacks her to half with a Psywave and gets the confusion. But on the next turn, she makes it through for another attack to take us below half. But no crit, so another one gets the job done. You know, maybe you're not such a long shot after all, you little big like too bad to stand. But we can't celebrate long, as we're forced to attend my least favorite place in the entire... Sorry. Pokestar Studios. More like Pokey. Stab me in the face. Hours of endless torture later, and you at least get a nice boat cruise the hell away from there, arriving in the beautiful Cecilia City. I'll never forget how much this place blew me away at my first playthrough. Oh, jeez, you scared me. Wait a minute. The Quick Claw actually might be handy with slow ground types. You're forgiven. Hello, this is Game Freak. Is this where you've been hiding your remaining Pokemon? And when I think of video games and the adventures that I want to have, I mostly want to explore the inside of sewage systems for hours on end. Okay, normally I remark how awesome it is to be able to get the leftovers items so early in game, but I just realized leftovers in a sewage system? I shouldn't touch that. Not only that, but we can also find a room that very much represents the state of my life right now. And the Twisted Spoon to boost the power of psychic moves, great for Longshot. Funnily enough, while planning my encounters, this didn't even occur to me. You can technically access a small part of another hidden area down here through the Relic Passage, which actually hosts another encounter for us. It's a 5% chance, so it took a while to find, but it ends up being an Onyx, which I was going to name after the boulder from Avatar, but she's female, so Boldera it is. Boldera has a naughty nature, plus attack, and minus special defense. Interesting. That's not bad, to be honest. Not only that, but the perfect item to equip her with is here too, the Heartstone. Let's go. Visiting Route 4 north of Castelia quickly to fill up our Pokedex for a particular reason. We can grab yet another encounter, this time a Sandile, which I nicknamed June, and who I noticed has the Intimidate ability. Moxie's great too, but honestly, Intimidate is probably one of my favorites. She's also got a docile neutral nature, which I'll certainly take. For having seen 40 Pokemon, we can pick up a special reward in a nearby building from this scientist, the Eviolite, to boost the defenses of unevolved Pokemon. And we have a perfect candidate, don't we?
Oh, buddy. Try the A&W Spicy Dill Pickle Buddy Burger for just $3.99.
Speaking of which, it's time for the next gym, the Castelia one. Bug is an interesting matchup for us, resisting ground, but not only that, a lot of them in here are part grass type too. Even though it's 4 times super effective against Volterra, with the Eviolite attached, we tank them relatively well as physical attacks, and can of course respond with a stab super effective smackdown for the KO. Along the way through the trainers, we have our very first evolution as our starter, Boomy, fully evolves into a Sandslash at level 22. Quite an early one, and might be crucial. The third gym leader is Bird, the bug specialist, and, okay, good work back there in the sewers is a very strange way to greet someone, sir. His team is terrifying for ours, but I think we have one singular answer for it, if we can pull it off. He leads with a Sawaddle, and I send out our newly evolved Boomy. I go for Defense Curl right away, and he uses Stray Shot to lower our speed. Not great, but now I use Double Power Rollout for 2/3, then he Stray Shots again. I was like, alright, that's not bad, but this allows him to outspeed us with the super effective Stab Razor Leaf, but Boopy's defense is crazy, so another hit takes him down. In comes the big threat though, his ace, Leavanny. This all depends on if he gets a crit Razor Leaf or we miss Rollout, but he doesn't and we don't, so a super-powered, super effective attack demolishes him. Nice. His final Pokemon is Dwebble, and ironically enough, it has the Sturdy ability, so technically it survived our 5th one, a 960 base power attack. But his best move against us is Struggle Bug, so we survive on 31 HP and can slam him with a Magnitude for the guaranteed accuracy knockout and the win for a 3rd batch. Whew. Missing Rollout or getting crit might have ended our run straight up, so there was a little bit of luck required there. As if smacking around a Dwebble repeatedly wasn't bad enough, Colress decides to harass a bunch of Crustle up ahead too, so we have to end him. Normally, Steel types are incredibly difficult to deal with this early on for a lot of teams, but Boomy with Magnitude was able to demolish both his Magnemite and Clank with relative ease, not even taking any damage. Legend. Colress also gives us protein for winning. My man's been lifting. The next area, one that's exclusive to White 2, has some amazing things in store for us, such as the Light Clay item to extend the duration of Reflective Light Screen, some citrus berries from a weird karate dude, which are hard to come by in this game, and also one of the best TMs in the game for our team, Dig. Not only that, but ahead of the Desert Resort, we can get probably the best item in the game for us, the Soft Sand to boost ground moves. Wicked. The haul doesn't end yet though, as this part of the Desert Resort is the only place we can find our next encounter, a Trapinch, which evolves into one of my favorites. Again, I was going to go with Guan, but it's female, so I named her Guana. It actually kind of works, as Flygon is close enough to an iguana-looking thing, right? She also has a bashful, neutral nature, perfect for a potential mixed attacker. It's Joy Avenue time, and I can't possibly manage everything. Yeah, I don't think I can manage that many girls either, my dude. Alright, it's time for the race of the century, and oh, photo finish! Usain Bolt is trembling. That race has us arriving in Boston City where the next gym is, and where all the excitement is evidently. The Poke Center here does have some great TMs, but we're going to need some more money first. So, might as well turn to the Pokemon equivalent of steroids, the Macho Brace, to double the EVs we get on Pokemon that hold it. You know how Omno is great for XP grinding in these games? Well, imagine how much XP this thing would give. Alright, it just occurred to me how weird the gym situation is in this city. You first have to take on a bunch of trainers in this building that was the gym in the originals, but then you have to go to a new model runway building where there are more trainers. So weird. Boomy was definitely able to blow through them though. During the process, we had another great evolution as June evolves into a Croc. Quite the cool looking Croc, and should also be very handy with that dark typing. The fourth suit, although she did crit us, but on the second turn we now outspeed to slam her with Smackdown for 3/4. Knowing she's not doing much on us, I set up Stealth Rock too, before eventually tagging her with another to get the knockout. Next up is Flappy, and after the Stealth Rock damage combined with a stab super effective 80 power dig, that thing ceases to exist. Her final Pokemon is her ace, Zebstrika, and after the rock polish, we can outspeed even it, smashing her with a dig as well with the help of hazard damage. Unbelievable. Normally she gives us a hell of a lot of trouble. With this momentum going, in my head I'm starting to think we might be able to get our third ever Deathless Monotype Hardcore Nuzlocke. And of course we have to catwalk with her to get out of here. In the city, this football player tells us that there's two places to watch sports, the big stadium or small court. Well, obviously, as a big boy, we're gonna go to the big stadium. Oh, wait, no, anything but this, please. I deeply apologize for being forced to put you through this Boldera. Very pretty, though. Crossing the Driftvale Bridge, we arrive in, well, what the hell do you expect? I mean, it's Driftvale City, people. Here lies one of my... Well, he's not dead, I should say. Here exists one of my favorite people, the dude who gives you the expert belt, Wicked. With that in hand, I'm feeling confident to take on the next gym right away. As it turns out, June is a monster in here, being able to take down all the Baltoy in here with her stab moves, and the expert belt at this point was just kind of overkill, if I'm honest. The fifth Tomb Raider's Clay, our ground type arch nemesis, and we must assert dominance here, although he has a powerful team. One problem being, he leads with a Croc with Intimidate, but I get long shot out there. Looks terrifying, I know, but it's just to take the Intimidate and bait the dark type move. That way I can go safely into our own Croc to not only intimidate him, but also resist his incoming crunch. Beautiful. Here I hit it with a crunch of our own, as he then just lands a bulldoze for a third and lowers our speed. That crunch was just to bring him in range of a gate though, and to avoid potential torment, which he did use. Funny thing is, as Sand Slash now comes in, torment doesn't really matter, as we have an equally powerful move in crunch, although he hit us to nearly half with a super effective Fury Cutter first due to our speed drop. Fury Cutter does get stronger every turn though, so I have to switch and play it safe. I decide to go into Boomy here, as we have now had a Crocorock v Crocorock and Sandslash v Sandslash battle. And I used Defense Curl here, and he went for Rollout, which I know he's locked into now. We tank all of his moves quite handily, so here I go for a few digs and a slash to take him down, even through his Hyper Potion, as we end up at 2/3 or so. In comes his ace though, Excadrill, a wickedly powerful Pokemon, but our Defense Curl allows us to tank Metal Claw well, and Stab super effective dig instantly pulverizes him for the victory. Man, who would ever talk down on Sandslash? This thing's a monster, at least in the early game so far. With the Pokemon World Tournament now open, we can grab an item I think might be quite handy for ground pets, especially the Rocky Helmet. And I must be seeing double, as there's another Rocky Helmet available right nearby in the north of the Relic Passage. I don't know if this was an oversight by Game Freak or not, but I'm not complaining. I love utilizing these things in battle. Now, at the regional tournament itself, we had a very close call. Not only did we have to deal with Hugh's now evolved Duat, which thank God we got a crit on, but I forgot at this point he now has a fully evolved City Sage too. I had no choice, so I stayed in, and C-Bomb slammed his hard below a third before Crunch wasn't able to finish him off. Knowing Boomy's quite defensive though, I switch him in, and he tanks one above half. Then the second one brings us to just 16 HP in the red before we get the Slash KO. Each that was close, but Longshot could Ancient Power his Tranquil from there at least. As if he hasn't annoyed us enough, Hugh tells us up ahead that the region is reaching minus 58 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, so standard Canadian winter then? What? So he tells us the region is frozen and then gives us an HM to be able to travel across water. Thanks, buddy. Oh, you little... Yeah, you usually scare me, but now with this team, I'll f*** you up, you steel type. Yeah, you better run. Speaking of steel, in the Chargestone Cave nearby, we can find a pivotal item for this run, the metal coat. And no, not just to boost steel type moves. But before that, we also have another encounter in here, as exclusively in the Dust Closet form we can find a Driller, which I catch and nickname Opal. Opal has a hasty plus speed and minus defense nature, and honestly, anything plus speed I'll take. And also, the Sand Force ability to boost attack power in sandstorms. Wonderful. A short journey later, and we arrive at the next gym location, the Stralton City. Mommy? Oh, I'm sorry, Professor Juniper, how are you? Okay, I think this is the first time I've ever seen these flowers sprouted. Oh, no wonder. They're planted right beside an airport target. After picking up some cool TMs like the Exozer TM from Route 7 and also the Shadowclaw TM from the Celestial Tower, it's time for the 6th gym, the Straltons, where we not only get body slammed by the gym butler dude, how exciting, but we can also use Volvera to great effect in here against all the flying types. During the process, we have what might be tied with our largest evolution haul of all time, which ironically enough happened in our very last run, as Guana evolves into a Mybrava, one of my favorite middle stage Pokemon ever. Longshot also evolves into a Claydol, which should add some really good bulk to our team. And Opal doesn't want to miss out on the fun and evolves into a monster Excadrill. And I waited until level 33 so she learned both Earthquake and Swords Dance ahead of time. Let's go. But there's one remaining evolution, as I did a trade back with Volvera and the Metal Coat attached to get a beastly Steelix. Holy cow, what a ridiculous team upgrade we just had. It's time for the 6th gym leader, the Flying Specialist, Skyla, and while choreographing for this battle, I realized just how little type coverage we have and how little status potential we have too. But I came up with our best plan and went for it. She leads with a swoop at, and I get Juno there to match. Intimidate helps us against acrobatics, and here I use Torment so she can't use the same move twice in a row. With her lowered attack, I now feel safe switching into Longshot here against Assurance, which now doesn't do much, especially after leftovers are factored in. Now she has to alternate moves, so I use Cosmic Power to raise her defenses twice in a row. Not wanting to be greedy though, I start attacking her with Ancient Power, just hoping for the Omni boost, but we don't get it into attacks, although we do take her down at least. In comes a massive team threat though, Swanna. But with our raised defenses, I stay in, and we do tank Bumblebee relatively well. Although after our Ancient Power, her Citrus Berry brings me to just outside KO range. Damn, I'm forced to switch, but into what? I end up deciding on Opal, but Bubble Beam immediately does over half. Goodness gracious. Well, this is it. With literally nothing else to switch in against this thing at all, and not only that, but she instantly crits us with Steel Wing down to just 4 HP. And we miss Rock Slide. Are you kidding me? Well, I know what I have to do. I send in another Gen 2 wall to counter her, Volvera. This was a crazy back and forth, but with the Rocky helmet attached, we could repeatedly slam her with Rock Slide, and after a 2-minute back and forth, Volvera eventually emerges the victor with just 44 HP left. That was a wild battle, but we pulled through fairly well, I think, given the circumstances. Oh boy, I can't wait to head out to Lexicus Town and get out of this place. This is definitely one of the coolest looking places in the game, and to match, it's got one of the coolest encounters too, as in the exterior of Reversal Mountain we can find a Numel, which I catch and nickname Oma. Oma's got a lax plus defense and minus special defense nature, which I'll take. Boy, it sure would have been great to have this for that damn Skarmory. I'm actually going to replace Boomy for now, since fire coverage is definitely much needed. Quickly grabbing the hidden Shadow Ball TM beside the spooky house that I will not be entering, we arrive at a bit more of a tropical and friendly location on Delatown. Here we can find an interesting item, the Draco Plate, which should be great for Guana. Wait, they didn't put this here to reference Cynthia's Garchomp, did they?